Hello, my name is Laura Mota, and today I'll be reading some poems. But before, I would like to thank Anteism, METATRON PRESS, and Ashley for having me and for putting this event together. Yesterday, I was listening to the live, and I was just stoked to be part of this event. So, without further ado, I'll read my first poem. It's called Drinking Light, and it was written after a conversation with a physicist called Felix, and watching Kurosawa's Journey to the Shore. Drinking light. I rightfully poisoned part of the projections I had. From how destruction spreaded, projections must be liquid. Liquid is not about wetness, but about particles' behavior, a physicist told me in a conversation about liquid light. If light behaved as liquid and we poured it in a glass, we would not be able to see its brightness. If not a wave, if not spreading, light doesn't reach the eye. I'm oversimplifying it. Kurosawa oversimplified it, and we're both talking about grieving. But again, projections must be liquid. We can predict its particle's position. A particle of projection like self-image or someone you love, you predict their behavior in imagined futures. Projections take the shape of the container you put them in. In pessimism, I sang to myself breakup lullabies. Later, I felt ashamed of my own mediocrity in looking for ways not to be affected. In optimism, I allowed myself to design futures with my lover. Later, I watched the abyss between our desires. In a liquid state, particles move around. In some cases, this means spreadage decay. When projections rot, the chasm between worldview and reality give me vertigo. And 4 billion years from now, the Milky Way will collide with the Andromeda Galaxy. But I think that will be quite a trivial event. It won't be the end of the universe, lectured the ghost of Kurosawa's movie. And so, I lecture myself. Her taste. I pour myself some whiskey, but in my mouth the liquid becomes pepperminty. Won't you apologize? I miss the bitterness, and she can tell. She can tell I will not ask for forgiveness, and she's changed, since forgiveness is for whom gives. I'm in a disappearing process without due date, she tells me. If we had a court members, they would proclaim, it's a disgrace, but we're alone, so she has to ensure herself that my every breath feels like a trial. She transforms my drink in tea. She doesn't allow me to flee her questions. Won't you apologize? The dust against the sun tells me it's always winter inside the house. Won't you apologize? I sip the last drops from the glass. Outside, the trucks recall each hole of the street. I want to see every lack of cement, but when I stand, my body is dizzy. And my mouth tastes like peppermint. I sit again. Isn't it time for you to leave? Without due date. Some things go both ways, but it doesn't mean that they are even. She's the sun in a foggy day, burning without admonishment and without due date. What a lovely disgrace to see you here. The next couple of poems were written for a project on belonging and running away, and they are inspired by interviews. The first one is called Lack of Yellow. I'm always waiting at the border of disapproval. I feel childish, asking for countless permissions. It's the price of living under guidelines written in a language I'm not fluent. I meet bodies not constrained by handshakes for a cup of coffee, a 5 to 7, but then, without realizing, it becomes everyday, excessive. I ask to live in the embassy, a virtual space I'll call homeland. Sun rays fail to reach this part of the globe. On weekends, I lay with my lover until late. I feel foreign to his lukewarm body and slippery hands. He tells me I'm not doing enough to assimilate. I say I escape to deceive myself from placement. Outsiders understand my fear of performance better. I'm less vulnerable when I sight among them. To remember home, we run through Alps naming ipe colors and fruits the snow could never taste. Photoautotroph. Red lichens, blue hydrangeas, philodendrons. A bubble grows on my right hand, and at the chant of cicadas, my skin too smells like wet earth. In the morning, I welcome a mango tree. Her roots settle in sloping rainforest soil, her leaves sheltered under a transparent umbrella. I whisper secrets to her, and we both sunbathe. I wish I could photosynthesize as a fern, and stretch through the air unrolling my tiniest bits. I would never expect someone to grasp at my fronds or clock my unfoldings, but ferns have sorrows, and I freckles. I walk through herbs. Golden rosemary was born in the field without being harvested. It was my lover who told me the field's wildflower is the rosemary never paid rent nor expected remuneration. Scent donated with daintiness. Amongst vegetables, I feel a new type of kindness. There's no sorrow. All death is compost. How simple. We grow where we can. Sand gatherer. I stop in the desert and wait for stars to fall from an unconstellated sky. My eyes, miracle beggars, always hollow and glassy, famished for proof. In which mythology will be my next logic? I was told believing is letting yourself be a fool from a mouth that lisped promises. We can never touch anything, can we? We're both too much of agitated particles. I need no telescope. The ground speaks when a meteor arrives. Time scratches my throat. Distance is a reality not shared. The last one is a love poem and it's called Always. Always. It feels like I'm always in the bubbly place where the wave hits the beach. He looked at me worried. To him, beach means sand sticking to the skin, a body of water he cannot trust, a displeased father. My metaphor didn't resonate with him. He asked me to cut it open. I feel it on my body. Sand rises by the intense stream and then it tries to follow gravity. Tiny bubbles heads up. Turbid water. But the sun is too loud outside to leave you feeling dim. I don't mean shore. I mean the place where two waves encounter in the sea when approaching the shore. The place where streams hit themselves and twirl my floating body. My body has no power of choice. Growing up, my grandma used to scream at me to leave the place where waves break. The place where you have no control. I heard myself. I saw his face. My description sounded like a premeditated disaster. I talked a bit about momentum, but something was missed in my explanation. We ended the discussion with me frustrated with his distance from my language and mythologies, and him frustrated with the idea of a lover who saw her love as a danger. I found my words over and over. What I missed was stressing the always. It is this temporal marker that allows the pleasure of presence. This always means the repetition of 2 seconds of intensity, the repetition of your lungs with enough air, the repetition of being taken by a body so much larger, a body that contains in itself contradicting movements. Thank you.
My name is Sruti Islam, and I do a lot of things, including hosting a literary podcast. It's called Weird Era. It's sponsored with St-HENRI Books. Check it out. And thank you, Ashley and Metatron, for having me. Anteism, I love both you guys, so it's really nice to be here. I'm going to read a short story. It's called Bulb. At 3:30 a.m., the employees of Bulb huddled together in a dimly lit, otherwise empty basement. Janine stood with her shoulders slumped over the bar with a glass of wine from the bar's second to the cheapest label. Soft light from a set of scattered candles continued to set the mood of the room. Janine had ended up here this evening on a whim after her starter vodka shot and concurrent drinks turned her into the kind of person that said, sure. Then at 1 a.m. in the middle of closing up, someone asked, want to stick around? The bar was filled with a smoky gray cloud. Its employees filled the seats at a semicircle table and, while hidden behind a line of draped velvet curtains, indulged in an after-hours ability to illegally smoke indoors. Janine's conversational style had expanded from small talk with a mutual acquaintance at the start of the night and evolved into a variety of in-depth conversations with the rest of the staff cohort, ultimately culminating in a pronounced desire to want to dance. When one of the bartenders had invited Janine out to their after night, her exuberant consent came with the expectation that they were heading to a new place, surely this one with a DJ. Her disappointment never got time to settle, however. As Janine entered the dark, quiet basement room, she quickly became excited by the allure of a Prohibition-era level experience, drinking with strangers in an otherwise closed bar. Given that these were the sum of the factors that brought these people together, Janine was not really sure who she was hanging out with. Keenan, sitting next to her, seemed okay. My dad was a jazz musician, Keenan said, nodding before sipping on his next cigarette of the night. That's so cool, Janine responded. Jazz is wild. Yeah, you like jazz? Like beginner, she warned bashfully, but I totally think it's wild. Beginner? Keenan's demeanor shifted, his lips curled, amused. You know, like I'm not like a real jazz person. Like I don't know the things, but I played piano in high school, like briefly. Janine stumbled out. Were words starting to slur, she wondered. That's cool, Keenan nodded again. Playing an instrument is cool. I don't know how to play anything. Janine took a sip of her wine and said, I barely remember any of it now. It's not worth anything if you don't practice. Suddenly, a pair of quick hands distributed shot glasses and began to pour globs of vodka accordingly. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay, Janine said in response. Keenan laughed. What's your name again? He inquired before throwing back the liquor. Janine, in return, choked on hers and broke into a flurry of giggles. Janine, my name is Janine. Keenan giggled back. There was absolutely no reason for both strangers to be sitting next to each other having this much fun. It was objectively hilarious that somehow Janine and Keenan loved each other and would only love each other that evening, all the while failing to even grasp each other's names. It was, of course, the alcohol that made the humor of it glitter. Then, suddenly across from the bar, You're fucked, you're totally fucked, a voice belted out. The slurs of speech in the surrounding bar began to drip down to a murmur until there was a total silence. All eyes were drawn to the source of a deep and appalled voice, sitting next to a very beautiful girl who blushed at the attention. Her perfect poise suggested that she was the kind of woman with a strong affinity for attention, good attention at least, the kind of attention that cushioned her beauty privilege. Yet the blood rushing to her cheeks in this moment meant she was now squirming under an unintended audience. This time, the attention directed towards her stung with disdain and shame. It was a man of color, South Asian in descent, that sat next to her fuming. He was the one who was insisting she was totally fucked. The girl gulped, kept her eyes to the counter, and said, Look, I'm sorry if I offended you or something, that wasn't my intent. The man scoffed. The girl sighed. All I'm saying is that a black man still doesn't have to be a woman, and so he'll never know, about the female experience. He just can't know, maybe if they're I don't know, she started to stumble. Here there hung a pause. Her comments only further hydrated the tension in the room. The longer people ruminated on her words, the more vapidly the tension spread. The guests were forced to sit in their discomfort, now scared of what 5 minutes ago had felt like a safe environment. All the while, Pradeep kept fuming. I cannot believe you. I just cannot believe you, he said, that you are literally saying these words. I'm not trying to do anything like that, his companion insisted. I'm just saying that we talk about this stuff all the time, but, things are gendered too. As an Asian woman, I think I have a right, another scoff from Pradeep. Janine, brutally aware of the paleness of her skin, squirmed and whispered into Keenan's ear, "This is killing my vibe." Keenan snorted, attempting to hold back a giggle. Pradeep shot a look directly at Keenan, forced a laugh on his end, and then said, "No, you're right, man. This stuff is laughable." Suddenly, all eyes were on Keenan. No, sorry, that was not," Keenan nervously sputtered. Everyone in the bar was looking to Keenan, the only black man in the group, with unwarranted concern. Their eyes suddenly filled with the expectation that he, in the color of his skin, with the gender he identified with, would surely say the right thing in this situation and unequivocally solve the tension the room's inhabitants felt like they were drowning in. Keenan knew this look. Okay, let's just keep the night moving, maybe? Janine was just saying that this was like a tense seeming and maybe drunk at a bar after hours isn't like the best time to talk about these dynamics, Keenan watched as disappointment fell on everyone's faces, one after the other. This had not been what they wanted to hear. They had wanted him to educate everyone on the perils of gender essentialism while promoting the significance of colorism. They had wanted him to find a way to heal them of their moral impurities. They wanted his recognition, his forgiveness. He was their priest, and they were ready to be absolved of their sins. Instead, he had offered them a metaphorical shrug. In this moment, Janine empathized with Keenan. She watched as his coworkers insisted he stand on a pedestal, his face quickly sobering up as the room shocked him back to reality. This upset her. They were killing his buzz too, she decided. Annoyed on behalf of them both, Janine stood up and proclaimed, "I'm going for a smoke." She had expected more of a reaction to this, but then remembered nearly everyone in the bar, including herself, was already pulling on a cigarette. "Like a fresh air smoke thing," she said. She slipped off her coat from the back of her chair, shot Keenan a look, and then headed towards the door. The room remained silent, and its tension slowly morphed into an elongated, awkward pause. Janine scraped the sides of everyone else's jackets as she squeezed towards the exit. Keenan had, of course, quickly followed her out, shrugging to the crowd and earnestly waving a nearly empty pack of cigarettes in the air. Janine pushed the bar's heavy brass back door open and was immediately met with the sting of the Canadian winter wind. Relieved to see Keenan had followed after her, she watched him shut the door behind him, and then, yet again, the two burst into laughter. "I'm sorry, man," she said. Keenan laughed. No, it's fine. Thank you for the exit." Janine tugged on her cigarette and nodded. "I have no idea what they were talking about, by the way," Keenan said. "Oh, I have no idea either. Both of them might legit be smarter than me, they were just so..." Keenan nodded. "Bitch, don't kill my vibe," he sang. "Exactly," Janine responded. "Can we just not right now?" She took another sip, immediately shot an earnest look at Keenan, and said, "Not that I know anything, I'm not saying..." Dude, don't start like that," Keenan chided. "Right, sorry, I'm just saying I'm not insensitive. I'm just, very drunk and very stoned," Keenan offered. "Yes." Janine broke into a wide grin, replete with matching sparkly eyes and fluttering eyelashes to match. It was at this moment that Keenan decided that he was quite fond of the dark smudge around Janine's glittered eyes. It was pretty. This realization tugged at Keenan, and the softness under his jeans began to harden. "Yeah, I'm not going back there," he said. "Yeah, no, me neither," Janine confirmed. "Not like we can move, though. There's nothing exactly open." Janine was still very drunk, and the buzz that had so appallingly been disrupted just a short moment ago was quickly resurfacing. She remembered she had a whiskey and an apartment that, it turned out, was really not far at all. Janine vocalized this to Keenan, which seemed to startle him, or so she thought. Was it really such a bold offer, she wondered, that is between two people having a drunk smoke on an empty street in the middle of the night? In this particular context, was it really so bold? In fact, Keenan, a bartender, was not remotely startled by the proposition to drink more after a night of drinking, but was instead displaying the age-old surprise of a heterosexual man. Despite his corrosive belief in the meekness of his gender, here was the opposite sex offering him the opportunity to further captivate his attention. "Yeah, sure, why not?" Keenan eventually fumbled out. Janine guided them through the streets, the conversation naturally ebbing back to themes of jazz and away from the tense energy of the bar. They were both glad to leave it behind. Janine felt sorry for Keenan. He had no choice but to eventually return to the very same room in the eventual light of day. It was his place of work, after all. Janine had the joy of never seeing these people again. Or privilege, she briefly pondered. By the time they tumbled into her small, cozy, and totally unaffordable apartment, the two found themselves back en route to their original high, having smoked another joint on the walk along the way. Keenan maintained the respectful distance one does when entering a stranger's home, taking off his shoes, eyeing where best to leave his jacket, while Janine, in the comfort of her own home, kicked off her boots, ran straight towards the half-empty bottle of whiskey, found 2 glasses, and guided them both to their couch. "Nice place," Keenan said as he took a seat. Janine responded by climbing on top of him. Keenan immediately stiffened. She smiled her smile again, leaned her body into his, grazing his face with her fingers, and leaned for a kiss. First light, sentimental, then wet with expectation. Here Keenan felt himself relax, mutually sinking his body into hers and gliding his hands towards her bottom. Together they built a mutual appetite. He wanting her just as much as she wanting him, or was it possible, Keenan wondered, that he detected more excitement from her end? She was so hot, though. He unzipped her jeans and slipped his hands under, feeling the confirmation of wetness. She moaned. Soon he was unclasping her bra and she was pulling down his underwear. She stared and then said, "I love it." And just like that, Keenan knew he was not the first man she had been with, not the first black man she had been with, and that part of her wetness was in fact directly related to the conversations they had both giddily left behind at the bar. She had loved it. He could have cared less. Her breasts were perfect, her nipples a beautiful shade darker than the backdrop of her skin, and then suddenly he was in her mouth. It was fine. It was good even. Very good. Thank you. What a pleasure. It's beautiful in here if you guys can't see.
is Pamela Byer. I'm a bit overwhelmed right now. This is my first time being in a gallery around other people in a very long time, so I'm just gonna take my time. I didn't bring a lot of material for that reason, because I wanted to do the reading because I thought that it would inspire me to write something, because I'm sure, like many other people, I've been unable to write this year. So I'm gonna slowly work my way through some thoughts I've had over the year. Maybe just want to give a little bit of a trigger warning. I had 2 friends pass away, take their lives this year, so I think that might read in some of my work. So if that's something that's really difficult or triggering for you, maybe just mute me and look at me shake nervously. So I'm just going to start with one. Lick grief flaring up my neck, lap it to hit the back of my throat, medicine all cruelness in the spot until a slit of light lets out. Will comes in bursts. No. I am all there is, a cleft. I am all there, knees curled. I am all, indexing moments. I am down to my knees. I, left after all. Eyes that do not breathe, all biting their tongues in halves at the end of a makeshift noose as toxins fill while sleep comes as blood rivers. I believe in God now. I get on my knees. Goddess of emotion, really, oh, made of goddess of night and of God of blame, oh, born of blame, an inward turn, spraining backward turn, spake last words, did not speak the last words, did not answer the call from within the structure. You cried with a direction only known to you afterwards, secured with your last breath. I get jealous every time I see someone posting about reading a fucking book or going on a walk. I have 3 good days maybe, and then I rest, and then I lie in bed, and I feel that heaviness everyone attempts to summarize as heavy weighing down on my chest. I've been grieving since before death even occurred, since before I was grieving, since before I was born. During massage, the masseuse says, I need to learn the difference between love and sadness. Every day I find a new thing to be ashamed of. Is that grief? Anger turned inwards, and I have been since before I was conceived, since my mother, in a manic desire, tricked my father into my conception. I can just see. I lay on the massage table, my face smushed into that little hole, imagining that is being born, having your head pressed into a tiny fucking hole. You go in that way, you come out that way. Every time I want to talk about a poem, it's the interior and the exterior. Imagine prying the door open for a little thing to receive all that love and sadness. My dad managed a 7-Eleven. My mom stayed at home laughing or crying, just like I do now. Laughing, I painted my kitchen red, and then crying only 3 more days or whatever. My psychiatrist and I talk about neurochemistry and differential diagnosis. My therapist and I talk about dissociation while I dissociate, and she recommends readings. Just like school, I'm supposed to be typing these cohered thoughts out every moment I lie in bed. Yes, I lie through the characters. My internet is down, my power is out. I'm not well. A vision of you hanging, but at the moment when your breath stopped, a constricted buzzing of cicadas, or 1,000 birds in a chorus, a sound high-pitched, moving through the air, up, light, more, into the smoke, hanging low over all of our houses for the 2 weeks, following the way I want to fall to my knees for the 2 weeks, before your eyes moving white milk, a smile cast on your face, but I could have fallen on my knees at your suspended feet, replacing in my mind as cicadas buzz, lift the flames to suck your toes. The sirens actually meant energy or magnets rise really quickly in the center of the chest, hysterical. It opens, a spinning top, higher, like suspended. You must have felt closer to God. But everything must become romantic, and so it moves more articulate than here of transfer. I am particular, but remember of myself, I am receptive like a sponge, or ultimately I can't hold moisture. Indefinitely, I am divination of sensation or a measured impression gauge, me, if I love, an obliteration of horizon, I can do that myself. Is it innocent to sit, circle, shoulder to glass, play a game where you state an amount you carry with you and smile? The pressure of being the only shape in a memory. Our fathers were injured in asymmetrical ways when awake forced them only to recall our faces. Is that like love? When we are on the ride home, and I am chewing words that could be desire, arching, formally we agree on the presence of desire, we part the ways. Something is altered in real time. In the space, I've been feeling a feeling for years. Outside the space of the street in the cut between, something in my chest inexplicably spreads. This one has a name. It's called Permanent Self-Knowledge. I could bite down on your stamped piece of plastic and inspect the crooked expression or survey the bracelet ridges of the mark with the tips of my fingers. Is self-devouring a cannibalistic act? Full presence is illusory, but my body, it was here. When I said lick the chip of my front tooth, teeth fell out my mouth in a dream or my theory. Am I the scene of representation, of personhood? At 14, I would sharpen my 2 front teeth with a nail file. At 16, I would superglue a gem. Am I conditioned by others? To one of the sharpened teeth, and on a day pass in blue scrubs, I took the bus to a dental clinic and begged. Am I a shared language? Them to remove 3 teeth, see the blooded gauze filling the gap in my mouth, or where the gum dips is a silence which you require. What do my bare gums tell you? To seal your critical distance in traffic as I return, I know I am a theater or the waste product of your reflection. And how am I figured in your position of mastery? Okay. This one is called Held Me Like the Baby I Was. We smell the forest, fragrance red, and the trees healthy, or they are rotting. The land is tilled to grow poison. Now we are not close enough to the water or the river or the lake, and we go to sleep heavy in little houses, or they are stalls in beds of boxes, or they are coffins where I ask, who rules this sad valley with draining eyes? Stain on the ground, we work little pools of memories, leak out our bodies to give flashes of hands stroking through wet hair, moments of laying little body limp to feign sleep. In that time, we get carried in from the car ride, myself out to the ocean, alone now, no anchor, remembering your tall, strong figure on the ground, grown cold. I am left here, everyone looking on this small child in the forest, my body breaking just like yours did. Once you smiled so big when I opened my eyes to see you. Okay, this one is called True Real. Psychosis is the crisis of truth in language. Google, my angel number, your address. I remember you seeing me all that time, slipping into the same building, trying to light a cigarette. Please press the buzzer for me. 1935. Yes, sorry, my lighter isn't working. Later, in the middle of a river, a wide river with the sun overhead, the cloudless sky, families on the shore don't see me. Ice cream sops their bellies, sucking on my teeth. My feet kiss the silt at a desk, shallow enough the water doesn't reach the base of my seat. I stare at the horizontal scroll or the sideways telegraph. I translate the code. It comes out my mouth. In varied tones, I sing silence. Okay, and I think this will be my last one. This one is called I Kneel 3 Ways. I really love to talk about kneeling. I'm realizing right now. I don't know why it took me so long to realize that. Okay, I kneel 3 ways. Wrapped, stale, sleepwalking, in graveyards to find, mud foaming my toes, no flowers trailing to the clouds, not speaking a word, no sustained eye contact for more than a few seconds ashamed of love. I cry at the shape of these letters. Imagine you have never loved and you are inside a prison, or maybe it is a stable next to an emotional animal, to keep a horse close as a pet, to jump these hurdles in my body of water. I would like to be in an iced river, always the angel running, visible, smooth to the bottom, rocks. I can see its earth, hair stands on end, down, smiling, flowing, glacial towards me, encircled in the white room, with a bed in the center, the high platform fresh, with white sheets, skylights, the flowers like ropes, and moving into the sky, unalone, unashamed. There is no door, there is no door, there is no door, there is no door, there is no door. Wrapped, stale, I would like to be sleepwalking in an iced river, always in graveyards to find the angel running, visible, smooth mud foaming my toes to the bottom, smooth rocks, no flowers trailing. I can see its earth. To the clouds, hair stands on end, not speaking a word, down, smiling, no sustained eye, flowing, glacial toward. Contact for more, me encircled, a few seconds ashamed in the white room. Of love I cry at the shape, with a bed in the center. Of these letters, imagine the high platform fresh. You have never, with white sheets, skylights, loved and the flowers like ropes. You are inside and moving into the sky, a prison, unalone, unashamed. Or maybe it is a stable. There is no door. Next to an emotional animal. There is no door. To keep a horse close as a pet. There is no door. To jump these hurdles. There is no door. In my body of water, there is no door. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Allie Pinckney. I'm a poet based on Chicago or Montreal. Thank you to Metatron. Thank you to Ashley. Thank you, Anteism, to Madeline and Pascal on tech. Thank you to all of my fellow readers, everybody yesterday and coming next. And thank you for tuning in. This is called Horse Song, or Equestrian's Lament. I broke a horse, and the horse broke me. We were living in a custody, and now he's walking on the highway in the snow and sleet. I broke a horse, and the horse broke me. I broke a horse, and the horse broke me. We were living in a custody, and now he's running on the highway for his next jockey. I broke a horse, and the horse broke me. We were living in a nightmare that we called our dream. I broke a horse, and the horse broke me. Stain. We'll sing the numbers turtled, a reversal, paint them to a gaseous fog. So warn the me of you, against the amalgamation of every solitary microaggressor, poignant rabbits of the tongue nose, white depictions, depository, disposable, those torments to the me. The more exposure to the incidental, the more vivid the torment. Perpetuation of an agnostic purgation, the you of me, a privatized primitivism, divisive as priapism, the numbers we sang in reverse. The messenger and his pigeon gun. Messenger. Hermes' hair is pale flax waxed. The flowers I slip through his buttonholes. Comb them. We stole an unripe tomato from the single-stalk vineyard of a working-class front yard with flat waists and worn soles, green and tart. Hermes steps on each cold pigeon I cast in flight, petrified but bops on what icicled, now bolted, was melted when snow. Inchworms drop like tiny scrolls, wilt me while he knocks out the sky. Each step we took on the highway smarts up my wooden bootlegs. I curse his winged feet. The leaves start to gurgle on the emerald ash trees, the ones with the ivies. The stars are only on the sky. I've Velcro fixed the world in a tightness through the blurred pale. In front of his rouge tits, white earth's mountains, heartbeat below the suction of my ear. I cry into the divot on his chest, tear gully. Are you seeing this? Pigeon gun. This city's sidewalks are cuneiforms of our footsteps. We've played here before. It goes chicory, bindweed, clover, bloodied chin. Graceless and violet belfry bats puff out the neon sign through my wet dress. Not like his winged ankles, unshaven cherubic face, and malt fowl. Showerhead for gadflies, crawling off leaf sores, all pustule and hit hard strawberry, the heels of your wrists together in calloused pink grit. Yellow and black disease machine, the flax is long and cinched. The ruffles I mistook for warmth, so purple falls rotten, slitting giblets under encasements like hot okra, but contagious. Hermes, you are ancient and exposed now. A crow's man who hurls liquid amber over the bridge from his immolation orifice. Embalm my iron pigeons under heel heat, underneath the heart's beat. Fuck, I'm a gun of them, sleeping on a stranger's lawn now, sleeping in the grass now on the side of the path, so the bird screams slide off my waist. Blue, like I'm an easy belt of vacillating teeth. I'm stiff, I'm trying to grip my infant blue, move his stiff body off of mine. With my arms, the carpals drooping up his placket, I notice they're all slain Ken. The next one is called At the Delta Hotel While My Father Dies Down the Street. Father had a special things top drawer. It was my fascination. When young, I asked him for me of the catalog pocket watch I found there, engraved farmhouse and silo on its gold lid. He promised me when he died it will be. Father told me it was all that was left from the underwater town we come from, the rest sunken with disposal. I learned about death properly that night at the barnyard. In the silo, he would perish. The reflexive gold fleck of me in his eye, reflexive underbelly of the lid. I watched the farmhouse silo hinge. We were never farmers. While the doctor sawed my father's sternum in two with titanium teeth and his steady, pressured stroke, I whispered Schmetterling and posed provocatively into my phone camera through a powdered blue filter, a yellow silk scarf precarious on my body in a mirrored bathroom at the downtown Delta Hotel. When the doctor pulled my father open by his severed ribs, splayed him like a butterfly, they told me it was easy, that he gave tenderly, because I'd asked. I videotaped the sun and shade through the Juliet balustrade of the hotel room window that overlooks the nightclub Zanzibar. Chimera, a love poem. I gaze into the fire and watch the embers turn orange to white ash, carbon black, smoke from the chimney. I'm scabby with cruel tissue, with a blue infant's yeasts. A mother's sticky red blood whisks me. Open your cheek like a zipper to me. Bend your neck over now, flamingo. Absurd reduction to your pelvic hips, snip, angiosperm, and fish. Coconut husk for your leg hair, scaly shins, one snake which slits, pink giblets. The leaves are cascading. The water is lapping. Last night we used a headlamp to take turns to gaze into each other's throats, asked each other sing me. I hit the jugular to puncture. In the morning, I wanted to be a big, cold sturgeon tail with rougher eyebrows, cuter teddy bear eyes, shiny, still warm, numb like yours. Just gonna hydrate. Gown. Say all will pole, sore did, a rock, that girl's a delirious puppy, fluffing our jewel chain, the black, blue spray. He is a dead sister man. He never asked you to ask him where do you stand. He couldn't tell, you couldn't tell if you told him don't hold his hand. He is a system and a dead system, and there's no after. Automatic, it's somatic, sycophantic and romantic. Don't hold his hand. Automatic, it's somatic, sycophantic and romantic. Don't hold his hand. He is a dead system and he never asked you. Give it up to Eric Asher Woodhead on the bass. I'm like a really nervous singer, so I wanted to try that because it excited me. Thank you. Okay, I have one more, and it's like a dream sequence. It's kind of long. It's called Pass By. Cars. I can hear them swap outside. The cold, your body, her body. I have no appetite. Gesture, think, baloney, your parent. The car door, finger door, a slip, banana, whistle, news, ankle twist. Our myths are supine, and you, a whale one. Maybe you are a whale now. It was only a story you told me at once, you superimposing the me to the hot tub about us and the someone else with you. The noises you made, I recall them, I cannot hear them. Tonight, I think I feel your shadow touch my hair like a lover's would. There isn't enough discretion or of you to this feeling, indicative of a specific. Tonight, I feel cold all over, my goosebumps are hairs. The cars swish, the wallpaper in the hall, my neck, posing with you, the hot wallpaper fingertips. I write your name in the condensation on the windows, my windows, his windows, our windows, my window panes. The flock of pigeons, 1 pigeon, 2, 3, least 5, 2 pigeons, rust, purple, gray, blue, orange eyes try to enter on the water, making the paint peel in the day I watched the sun go up. I try to miss you and my ears yawn daisy. To grow to you, or permanence, sleep, senescence. I get to senesce you. My ears enact another form of reaching. Daisy, can't reach you. Remember the sound of my yell when I recall it there between us, the sill there, recall it first between the sound I woke up of you wail, the sound of you whisper, the hot water sun. I know what your legs feel like, bare and wet at the foot of a mountain. We shave up to the peach fuzz, you make fun of the way my thighs touch in the picture, a green-ribbed swimsuit. I miss you but can't. Baloney, you don't have thighs, your mother at your door waving anymore. I sat like I sat in the gutter, slam of the building, cars on the cold cement, and slam the fire. The people, I did not slam that metal door. The person, I did not, at least the window. I went to the window, gesture of a yell with my whole throat engaged. I yelled it soundless when I read it. In my ears, gripping, I could hear it, non-specific yell without sound. Our sound, I watched the distance between me and the ground, the news, the cars swap. If I think my shadow can touch you, I cry the way only a wish can tonight. If I think my shadow can touch you, I think you are here with me now as a shadow, a water drop breaks. These things just happen. These things are not altogether rare. There is something sharp that is missing, wavering at your door. The cars, your mother telling me tonight. The awareness of you was a secret you told me that I can't figure out how to put down. It's not the first time you've come through me. I wrote to you in the condensation of my window because I think you can see me. I think you are passing me by. I write to you here with the intention other people will hear it, coming in and out of my purpose. I don't know if it's to keep you alive. I think I want them to know you had a life, that you were alive with me once. My tears drop on my hands, and the window they fall. A pit bull woofs 3 quick successions. I tell someone on the phone the secret you told me, how you told it to me. They don't get it. They'd like to, but barely. They don't get it. Don't say so. It's him, the window. I can tell they can see something else in it. I felt this when others tell me the secrets their dead friends have told them. A lack it understands, but it isn't in the adjective because it is shadow connected to ground. And it is cold, dead, concrete. I am trying. The dog didn't bark again. It's done with it. The cars keep passing. The world just kept going. That was the worst part about it when I heard that you fell. I miss you. I love you. Pass by anytime. Thanks.
Hey, I like your quartz necklace. Thanks, I like your tattoo. I want to be somewhere in summer with you. Is it flash from the artist, or is it something you drew? I want to be somewhere in summer with you. Would you like to smoke a Viceroy? Oh, I only smoke Cools. I want to be somewhere in summer with you. After the show, we'll break into a pool. I want to be somewhere in summer with you. Do you want to come? Just text Jeff Burke. Mike Morris is coming. Have you seen his work? The water is warm. We'll swim in it nude. Hey, where did my friends go? Hey, look at the moon. Like soft candied ginger, a golden cashew. I want to be somewhere in summer with you. I hear the world's ending and I hope it's not true. I want to be somewhere in summer with you. I'm the least difficult of men. All I want is hot chip and lie. All I want is a motorcycle and enough money for enough gas to get me through this enough of a world, this enough life. Coffee in the quiet morning, windless mind of a wild earth yearning. You reading in the next room, vibing, vibrating from the little bump of coke you do, saying, having a coke with you, and I say, is better than, and you point in the Narcan spray, always with the blood oranges, maybe gone bad. You make me feel so good. All I want is a head, a nap on my chest, and you're napping in bed. And I tiptoe through the apartment, that's fine. Making breakfast, doing laundry, waiting for my after-shower body to dry. For you to smell me like a flower. All I want is your fingers licked clean of the meal that I made you wafted through my hair, in emotion as if to say, enough. Take it away. This is too much. Thank you. To kiss you like I've come home. It's 30 years, you say. Will always be that way. Always loser 30-year-olds, too old for good fun, too young to hold on, like a sad but on fire Bruce Springsteen song. Born in the 12th house, Bowie and Kim. Read my natal chart, baby, the sickle moon thin. Born in the 12th house, Gertrude and me, gorging our bodies on cookies and cream. Born in the 12th house, conceived on a whim, the mother of everything bathing with him. Bathe in the river, sunless and slim. Lavender fishes swarm and they swim. Arbutus branches lodged in their teeth like dogs in constellations. Like every sun in every universe is a dog, and they're barking dog songs to you. Do you hear them? There are stones in the ÄLPHÄ River that mark historic droughts. They're called hunger stones. One of them, now visible, reads, Wenn du mich siehst, dann wein, which means, if you see me, weep. From the open window, the city sound like spinning plates. An asteroid called 2019 OK passed between the Earth and the Moon yesterday. In the morning, I'm listening to Joni Mitchell sing, Why'd you have to get so drunk and lead me on that way? And the Notre Dame Cathedral is burning, and I'm sitting next to you. You sigh, and the Notre Dame Cathedral is burning. You whisper something in German that I barely understand, and I sigh, the cello and the church bells. And I'm sitting next to you, the room getting darker, your face in candlelight, the flame. The Notre Dame Cathedral is burning. Will you kiss me? I barely understand how I'm sitting next to you, your calloused hands playing cello all day. You sigh in German. The Notre Dame Cathedral still standing, will you kiss me playing cello all day? And listen, let me be clear. I'm here to wipe the strawberry tuft of shaving cream off your ear that you missed while shaving. I kiss you on your soft cheek and I'm happy. I'm happy with a rough cheek too. I'm happy with you. Wake you up from the floor when you're sleeping, when the light from the window turns turquoise Utah to Los Angeles spark. Pignon transparent in the Canada dark. Close as the spot in the sky, either plain or imploding star. The dust of a scar you never could face in a bottle on my desk I've been saving, to pour like the ashes of you on my ocean-dripping body, becoming a foal, becoming Emily Carr's macaque in the snow, becoming the second daughters of Job, as I fall again erratic, of my unknown boyhood, everything happening as only it could. Dye my hair blonde, your tank top cut low. Our indoor life quiet as Tropic Gardenia, Guatemala wide. You and I writing summer poems, the sea outside our door, not this condo sprawl Toronto wave of pain that warms champagne like. Tattoo anything you want across my chest, as big as my chest. Tattoo the word baby there, I dare you. To leave and never find ourselves, like a $40 cowboy boots kind of life, a Frank Ocean soundtrack kind of life, a motorcycle alive between our legs kind of life, a loud, low-lit room and a look like it's on. To do this forever, and by this I mean nurture my capacity for tenderness through you, to nurture you, feeling and knowing in mirror existence, which is how I feel you love me and I know I love you too. I love you. Let's say it together now. You, the listener, and me, the speaker, out loud. I love you. And it's New Mexico again, earthly heaven. Every aloe, the stray dogs of our love there now unbowing. Because New Mexico will be there forever, even when it's gone, it's New Mexico-ness living on. To sing something vibey at Queer Bar Karaoke, eyes closed, only our friends notice, only our friends clap. The world wondering, should we kiss? This cool kid flirting like, are you queer or what? Take all my debt and all my money too, to find a new way, because what else could we do? If only you had been there when AC showed me the monarch butterfly cocoons he saved. Gentle aquarium color and a room all their own, all scrying when he set them free. He said, it takes generations for the monarch to get where they need to be, just like us. For you to understand why I'll lose this man at my favorite bar in Neukölln. This handsome man on a window sill, smoking, reading the smallest book. Next to him, a small scrap of a dog. And that's it, man. All the beautiful people of the world passing by. The air, the freshly brushed tongue of someone you love circling your mouth. And later meet a cute couple, all swayed in silk and leather. The sweat of their tattoos dancing wet against each other. And I'm so starved for love that I ate a great big burger and I laid down to rest on my side and I caressed my protruding belly, which felt like a pregnant belly, and I closed my eyes and I whispered like a sigh, my baby, and my God did I feel tender. And 6 drinks in the hollow night, you kiss me, juniper, angelica, cardamom and rose. There are children in my lips, cinnamon and pear, and I'm there in a dream in our house, Victorian lily struck, Summer afternoon with the way the sun tastes. Sunlight through white lace curtain window on my face, hot, waking to you, the laughter of you, and children hands on my body. Plucking, groping in time, still in this fantasy of a kiss in the dark, of where we actually are. It's winter, and you walk in the cold alone for home, where you live with your partner, a good man, and I like him. How is he? No noise like the noise that we make in our home. I'm out east and alone, the abandon a swoon, and all I remember of you in our kitchen, your camo sandals, your shirt in a knot at the soft of your belly, the smoke you blow in my direction like an ochre stone halo. I'm an Alexander McQueen-inspired foxglove and columbine pressed to deep blue velvet, pearl-belted robe. A goat at my feet. I'm only here to stand nude and bemused at a party with your friends. Their hair in their hands in their faces. Their dresses I love, our bodies like landscapes. Only for you I brought peaches and jewelry, a turkey and grapes, the nape of my neck poised to a longing, a long way to go. I'm holding a photo. I'm always the bridesmaid and never belonging. And it's Sunday, and I'm reading your book, Ivana, and I'm smoking a cigarette that I stole from my roommate, only because I need to break routine, do something against instinct. Otherwise, I've been in this apartment, reading and writing and texting you, and being alone because being alone is political solidarity for the next 28 days now. Not being touched as an act of charity, turning on my webcam, turning on my front-facing camera, sending you nudes, sending you revolutionary text PDFs. And I cheated in a way because Andy cut my hair, her hands through my hair like a sigh, like a long breath of a Malick movie. We washed after everything, disinfected after everything, our hands wet with alcohol. And I'd marry anyone now or after this, if there is an after this radical shift. Radical like loving someone forever, like having a Coke with, but starting a queer commune with you. I stopped making breakfast to text you. No matter how many books I read, I'll still be your man. The tears that I cry after watching a Yoga with Adriene video for the 5th time are tears that I cry for you. My feet are caked brown and my hair long. My body a city body too much and too loud. The morning joggers ache like shadows splayed on beds where we laid each moment together awake. Certain that love has passed me by, I stay inside, reading books only writers know, cracking my toes, not scrolling but posting. Someone tweets, falling in love with your friends is as valid as falling in love, and gets like 11,000 likes. My best friend on coke all weekend, not answering his phone. I'm alone but not lonely, I say like a mantra to my mom, who asks what I'm doing today. I'm only borrowing this body, my soul at Pilates. And I thought I wouldn't grieve, but here I am, silent for a stretch. Silent for a stretch of days, watching a video called Yoga for Vulnerability again and crying, my hands at heart center like an asshole. When I was a teenager and depressed, I often wanted to sleep through this period of life, to wake up and the world would be fixed. It would welcome me in, because as broken as I am, the world is an airplane in the sky with no insides. And I have that thought now sometimes, that I could sleep through it. I could sleep through it all, not be silent, crying, high on what every Buddhist tells me not to do, desire. This is my last poem. The credits were rolling on the movie we'd watched, and she leaned forward to take it out of full screen mode, and I picked up my phone to a text from you saying, I miss touch so much. And she closed the screen, saying, I'm going to take a quick bath, kissing my forehead. A summer wind of her bell sleeves caressing the walls of our hallway. My voice after her, and okay. I wrote back, I do too. And you said, show me. In our room, my clothes on the floor, the red lampshade made the hardwood and inside pink, reflecting onto my body, prostrate and nude, my arms reaching out, my phone camera staring, my heart like a bull born in the sun, fully formed. I send it to you, and the sound of the bath water draining. My phone turned off now, my body in bed. She lays next to me, very not you, her smell like I've never smelled, like falling in love again and again, and again and again and again and again.
By the end of winter,
Had we failed at everything but breathing? Fell asleep in my corduroy skirt under my girlfriend's comforter while meditating on the shape of glass. Something pink inside me, something salt lamp, something about the zodiac, caressing the absence of a body, touching the pink curved thing that opens into me, the breathing, the looking at wonder. Could I be loved in her bed napping? Am I safe because I'm alone? What if I don't want to be? Industrial Rose. Something about hope defined possibility. But the essence of a thing remains untouchable. Specific timing of transient blossoms, cherry apple transportation made sense. But everything I wanted to arrive at was so far apart. My heart was in many places. It made me feel divided in a way I would never recover. The blossoms frowned, vacuumed the dust out of the sunset, and fell into the silence between people. It took too long to arrive at the pink sunset with you for salted ice cream. It was too expensive to travel all the way to your lips. We committed violence against nature in the name of progress. It was so expensive. It did much harm. Passion fruit. I kiss your hands and pomegranate seeds drip out and off I go into a soft, vibrating hemisphere. My subtle body swimming around the city like the son of you inside of me makes me feel alive. Tiny saffron petals bleeding, my blood is stained warm. You know, my mouth too. Things contain multitudes. Gravity makes things stay. It's called form. Passion for falling apart. It's called entropy. And I feel the forever form of us. Filaments of light, tapestry of ecstasy, thingness of existing, easy like instinct. A change in season like breathing sequestered in glitter of luscious desire. The old reality, it spasms, but we are beautiful as two bodies, knowing how we can close over one another, opening in sleep, our faces touching. Yes, we awake drinking from the same dream, licking the sleep from each other, forfeit thinking, feel the presence of one another, heartbeats on fingertips, makes time stop. And it's not just love that keeps us alive, but it binds us to one another. Bark on this tree, skin on this fruit. I forgive the dream where I wandered in the dark for a very, very long time. Because eventually I found a very particular frequency and was moved by it, and moved towards it became you. So sweet. Balm. I try to switch dimensions, but I'm still here on planet dumbass. My technology isn't reading my fingerprint. It makes me wonder if I'm alive. Normal path sucks, but I taste heaven in every juicy fruit. Will I remember how to embody love after I'm done sacrificing my body to this life?
Will I ever be done deconstructing shields of hurt made of clarity? Will I know what I want when I get there? Will I know or care what I feel? Know how I feel about what I can do? If I feel like I can't, I won't be able to keep going. Depth is so nauseating. Still, I try to visualize what my heart wants, imagine what I want to draw into my orbit, knowing the remarkable illustration of the power of a definite desire, the algorithm of instinct. Everything is a touch screen. I am trying to put my body on the map. I do not own any physical space, yet I am excited to feed the kindness of this nightmare, juicing the light from every darkness. Opus Seed Iris Omega. I lie to myself in order to tell the truth. I have attempted to tell of a world that doesn't exist in order to make it exist. The past is only beautiful for those who weren't present. Mystery is important. It creates intrigue. I am drawn to the holes in things. The name of my Wi-Fi network is Lonesome No More. All of my internet passwords are variations of the same combination of words and numbers. I scroll with 2 fingers gliding. I crave convenient forms of compassion. I think so that I can know. Everyone feels sad sometimes. It's okay to feel sad. Just don't. It's the role of the artist to not succumb to despair. Ugg boots are for people who have given up on life. Our habits are future artifacts. Soon, our future will be a habitual artifact. You can't get away from yourself by moving from one place to another. Reality is never as glamorous as anyone expects. The essence of things is kept untouchable. A medium is a tool in which the world makes itself known and seen and heard. Our artifacts will replace us. One time I wanted to reach out to God, so I stuck my laptop as far into the sky as my arms could reach. My arms flew right off my body and disappeared into the noosphere. It was not recorded on the internet. So do you care if it even happened? Information isn't always correct. There is a lack of sincerity. If people feel like they're on the outside of something, they'll start saying things about people that are on the inside and vice versa, maybe. Maybe there is no inside and outside. I have abandoned billions of pixels of myself, entire galaxies of pixels. I have abandoned a piece of wind that was myself at one point that will never return. Such pastels of silken sun, such pixels of life. The sun never rises in a room with no windows. I know I'm falling in love when all I want to do is lay under the covers and touch someone and pretend I have extra limbs. My habits are future artifacts. My habits are a clock that doesn't tick, that goes more than it comes. I am just earth adjusting to the water. I am adjusting. Let the light just be the light and do what it does. And then for my last piece, I'm gonna read something that I wrote this week. But it's messy. It's, you know, as Pamela was saying, it's been really hard to write this year. So this is compiled using a bunch of notes that I've taken over the year. And it is chaotic, but I feel like it's been a chaotic year, so it's appropriate. This is called Crown Worship. Quarantining on the same couch forever, living in the nostalgia of an imagined future, remembering the time we never had. You leave the oven door open to warm the cool apartment. Of course, we turn off the heat when we are gone. Living is expensive, but we are hardly gone anymore. Trying to crack the eternal knot inside of me that grasps me like a nut. I'm not sure if we are descending from disaster or just approaching the point of reference where cruelty is inevitable. Redemption has always been our destiny, but it was taken from us. Secret offshore banks. My body a whole ass force field. I watch the tenderloin of a cloud. When I think of the stock market, I think of artificial insemination, hemorrhoids on a butterfly's asshole, where the entrance meets itself. I can't wait for Wall Street to become a prison and for prisms to replace the stock market. Profit is overrated. What is the foundation of your thinking like? What thoughts are you indebted to? I know one. You are not enough. You don't have enough. Explore enough as connection to source. Where do you meet your exit and how do you enter? That which is not form, but still is. It is everything that isn't, because what is not much. Yet, life is an inevitable miracle. Like that feeling when you just look at someone you helplessly adore and your heart flies right off of its axis, right out of your body and into the soft space that makes everything touch everything. Some ambient network made of invisible but powerful energy. We clamor on about our little lives that feel so big. I fall into the symmetry. I call my girl and she's in another hole. I say, I can't chase you into this spiral, and I can't. I have my own hole. Is yours pretty sometimes? Can you dig your way back to me and make me a window? I want to see you. Are you embodied in the embodiment of others? Or are you lonely? The artificial intelligence of poetry, the insincerity of capital. Your favorite flavor, complexity. You put my fingers in your mouth. You are wet and warm. I am sharp and icy. I pull them out. I pull back. I am pulling myself back together by pulling back from the world. I am trying to pull myself together. What is it to have someone want to taste you through your mouth? Where you put the medicine in, where you put the poison. Where you say words and light comes out, or when the darkness is mean and you don't grow from it. I run my mouth without thinking, say things I hope don't have meaning. Am lazy and careless in my interactions with the world. I create distance. Bitcoins of speculation, a whole year of an embodied echo chamber without having anything touch you. Sometimes there is no space inside my mind for me. Sometimes the world takes up so much space I find it hard to find my form, like I'm walking around inconsequential. I look up mushroom bodysuit on Google, wanting a bodysuit with mushrooms screen printed all over it, simply existing, absorbing inner tensions of who I am and what I can do. Google turns my search into death mushroom bodysuit that you can put your dead body inside and turn back into compost. Hummus, life-giving, giving into Mother Matrix, put me back in the hyphae, meet me along the Earth neural network looking for the nearest beach to relax on this temporal data set. In my dumb bodysuit, just chilling in my body. Give me a new dimension. I want to relax, like in a hammock between dimensions, just vibing like, here I am. Please don't put me to work. I am trying to find a way to relax. Sundo, a new day following Sunday, preceding Monday. You left a huge hole by leaving. Describe the hole. Who's the enemy here? What can we do to change? Forgive the violent forces, love the anxious city. For all the coding, the layers of formation, the roads don't work. Our wheels of thinking get stuck in pylons on pylons. I like to find the Poulsen things to put in my Aurora chamber. A small bathtub and no-name bath salts. Capital is virtual. I want systems embedded with a sense of social and cultural responsibility. Take your housing crisis to a cottage in your mind. Everything is a foundation issue. Everything falls apart. The dream. I was at the Olympics of capitalism. There was a rug on sale. Property is against nature. Politics is a play that never ends. The internet is a mall. I bawled my eyes out all afternoon. I had lost my friend to the prairies, a raging grief in me, made of sheaves of wheat. The waves stuck in my lungs like razors, because I love her so much. I thought, you are the center of my life, and I have been holding on by so little. The thought of losing you is more than I could take. And I did lose you. I come to my love and I am a leaf of the tree I usually am. You hold me and suck me and bring me flowers blooming in water and salted caramel. And you cook me salmon because my brain needs the love you say. It's impossible to imagine the kind of thing that love is. To wade through all the piss and shit of life and to be able to give such darkness of grief within each other, a beam of light and a warmth we can hold on to. I would turn myself inside out in gratitude for you. Everyone is always leaving. If you stay in one place long enough, this you will know. To be around everyone you love is some kind of heaven. Weddings and funerals are reserved for. Oh, it must be glorious to believe the world belongs to you and to be filled with all of its potential, completely activated. The wind blows, it is cold today, dragging my ass up St. Joseph, tired from all the sun and fresh air. The sound of the fish tank in your brother's apartment, fresh as a stream. I walk in parks in neighborhoods that belong to rich people. I make kissy faces at their expensive dogs, find pleasure in having them lick me. Yes, all form is destruction. I mean it. But the way the snow hangs on this tree is so Dr. Seussian that I remember magic is real. It matters. It has matter. Ephemeral, like everything I have loved. You can fall into it and lose yourself. I want to lose myself, but it's so hard. Is anything that touches us matter? A thin slice of your vibration is all I need. The vibration of a vibration, the power of the powerful. I'm just vibing, looking for tomatillos on Park Avenue, trying to avoid the election, trying to crawl out of my body and into the body of a fruit. There is no place anymore. What is it from within me that makes my perception feel that nothing is moving, when in fact everything is always moving? A little fear for breakfast again. The world is or feels fake. All I want to do is name colors. Anxious on the internet using a fake face on Instagram. There is much uncertainty and anxiety. I need guides, I tell my ancestors. It takes 3 seconds for water to go from moving to not moving. Small glass. But we are in a bigger glass. And there's more movement. What is not much. That which is not form, but still is. It is everything that isn't. Because what is not much. Yet life is an inevitable miracle. I worship this moment. I forgive it. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, everyone.
world.